We are recorded, and welcome to PE turned RE, where we talk to everyday wealth builders. Today, I am fortunate to have a new friend on. We actually got to meet in Vegas, so welcome to the show.
Thank you, Curtis. It was so cool meeting you in person in Vegas.
Yes, yes. So the event that we were at was the one rental at a time event. It was the third annual one. And he'll be having the fourth one next year, January, MLK weekend. So for those of you that are interested in meeting our awesome community, you can do so then. But we actually got to have, I think it was lunch together. And it's crazy. We only live a few hours away, but it took us to meet in Vegas to actually connect. But what did you think of the event?
I thought it was fantastic. It was my first one, so I've been in school for a little over a year, and I co-host the Ladies of ORAAT with Jen. So it was really awesome to be able to meet all these people that I talk to on a weekly basis, and put a real face, not just a virtual face, to their names, right?
Yeah, that is awesome. Was there a speaker or was there a favorite moment from the event?
When Andrea and her husband, there was two Andreas, but the Andrea that did the assisted living, they had talked about how they had a struggle when they were investing early on at a smaller scale, with a bank pulling out when they thought they were good to go and having to solve that problem. And then they had the same thing happen at a much larger scale. And it worked out both times, but they had learned that skill set, and it had paid off for them in the future. That really kind of stuck with me.
Oh, nice. Good. So we've both kind of mentioned school, but for those that kind of don't know, can you kind of tell them what school is and what we
Yeah,
all get out of it?
yeah, absolutely. So, school is just a community of people that are all going in the same direction. We're all investing. There's a bunch of different types of investors, but we're all kind of slow and steady. And people can post questions on the community, which is really super helpful. But I think for me, there are 11 different accountability groups where you can go on and just talk to people about whatever your questions is, your specific buy box, and just get feedback and share struggles, get advice from people that are doing the same stuff as you, and people that are, you know, maybe they're just starting out, and people that are almost financially free or are financially free.
Yeah, I think the having such diverse groups is very helpful, especially for those of us that still have a day job, right? Of like, okay,
Yeah.
where am I going to fit this into my day? But because there's so many options, there's something for everybody. I know I tend to either pop into Frank's call because it's at night, or I'll pop in on the Gen Z call because it's early in the morning on like the weekend. So there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're really involved. You lead a group, but let's kind of go back a little bit, right? Before
Yeah.
you were this real estate pro, um, what kind of caused the spark?
So I was an assistant manager at a retail shop, and my husband, my boyfriend at the time, we were going to buy a house together in 2021. And we made a lot less income than what we do right now. So I think the median starter home in our area at the time was about 300,000. It's gone up a lot since then after the COVID boom. Um, but that was about what our budget was that banks would allow for us to do. So we kept offering, on houses that needed a lot of work. We offered over asking, and we just kept getting beat out. And finally, we said, "Okay, this isn't working. I don't think now is the time." And I was lamenting about it at work, and a contractor who was also an investor told me, you should buy a duplex. Listen to the Three Amigos, listen to Michael Zuber, One Rental at a Time, Dion Talks Financial Freedom, The Lumberjack Landlord, and think about house hacking. So I started watching them. I also talked about it at work to somebody else, and they said, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, read Set for Life, Tax Free Wealth. So I read those books, I listened to the podcast, and it kind of opened my eyes to financial freedom. And I thought, hey, if nothing else, in 30 years, if I could have, you know, 3 or 4 paid off properties, that's a pretty good retirement.
Okay, okay. And you said your area. What area are you guys in?
Oh, yes. So we're 45 minutes outside of Portland. I think we're still considered Portland Metro in the wine country, Newburgh, McMinnville area of Oregon.
Okay, so not a cheap area to live at.
No.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Because in the Pacific Northwest, we're not really known for cheap, like like real estate. So when people are young, in their 20s, they're like, "Well, how am I supposed to afford a place?" But you guys were able to.
Yes, yeah. So we ended up listening to the podcast. We read the books, and I ended up getting my money right. I had a lot of student loans at a high variable interest rate of 12%, and
Oh,
I locked in and I paid that off. I think in 2 years it was about 60,000.
mm.
Um, and then let's see. Oh, and then we eloped. We decided, hey, maybe if we're gonna buy a house together, we should make this official. Maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and then we house hacked in 2023, our first duplex out here.
In 2023. So it took y'all about 2 years to kind of get your money right, save up, learn.
Yes. And also during that time, I went from being a assistant to being a manager, and then my husband went from being a apprentice electrician to being a journeyman. So
Oh,
we
nice.
also leveled up our income.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's sometimes the part that gets missed when people talk about like their budget. They're like cut, 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 or pay down debt. But the part that's often missed is you also have to raise your income to increase that delta that you guys can save, which that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think there's lots of opportunity for our generation um, to be able to, because I know a lot of people that are my age that kind of, what is it called? Quiet quit.
Mm,
They just do the bare minimum. They say, this is my pay, this is my job description. I'm not going to go above and beyond, which is fine. I mean, if that works for you, that's awesome. But also put yourself in a position to get lucky. Doing extra work at work doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get promoted, but it's not hurting your
mhm.
chances.
Yeah, yeah. And you say people our age, we are both Gen Z, even though my kids that I teach don't believe me. They're always like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "27." They're like, "No, we thought you were 40." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
you teach Gen Alpha?
Yeah. So right now
Mm.
it's between sixth grade and eighth grade. So yeah, they don't really get the age thing. Their guesses are all over the place.
Yeah, 40, that's crazy. You don't, you definitely look like you're Gen Z.
Yeah, although I think they're also trying to poke fun though too. So
Right.
yeah, cool. So you guys got the duplex in 2023. How was that experience? So now not only are you homeowners, but you're also a landlord now.
Yes. So we really lucked out with that property. We got a good deal on it because the person living in it had kind of a specific scenario. So she listed the property for $550,000. We offered 500,000. And there were other people that offered more, but she came back to us and said, since you're going to be living in the unit, I'd like to stay in there about a month after close. And then my son is in the other unit, and I'd like for his rent to stay the same. I gave him the mom special, just until he can find another place. And we said absolutely. And then we settled at 527.
Okay.
Um, and she had renovated the side that she was living in, and the other side that the son was living in was unrenovated. So after she left, we told the son, can you move to the renovated side? And we lived in the unrenovated side. And we got I think our eyes were bigger than our stomachs. We we said we're gonna remove all the popcorn ceiling. We're gonna tear out the kitchen. We're gonna tear out the bathrooms. It's gonna be so cool, Chip and Joanna Gaines style, you know. Except that we're living in the property, right? So we had takeout for like a month. I got sick of takeout, which I never thought would be possible. And it, it was a little bit tough actually. The tenants that we got were fantastic after the son had moved out, but we saw, you know, our friends go on these really cool vacations, and on the weekends we turn stuff down because we're trying to save money, and then also we're working on our place, right? So um, that it was lonely not having other people that were going through the same experience, and people that kind of looked at us and said, "Why are you doing all of this?" And not having people in the same boat was a little bit tough.
Mm. Yeah, that does sound tough because not only can you not go out with them, you can't really invite them over because your house is in shambles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Okay, so how's that first process of screening the tenant? I don't know how you felt, but I know for me it was a memorable experience placing my first like tenant.
Yeah. For us, the unit became vacant in August, which was a really opportune time, and we used Hemlane for all, which is a property management software. And they do all the screening. The tenant pays for the application, and it gives us a credit report, a background report. It's really thorough. It offers screening questions, and we got a lot of people that inquired, but not a lot of people that would say anything about this screening. They just look at it and say, never mind.
Yeah.
So I think we got about 30 hits, and then only maybe 3 or 4 people that actually went through the screening questions. Um, but we got people in pretty quick. They met all of the requirements. We were a little bit strict because we were first time landlords and we didn't really know what we're doing. So I think we did like a 700 credit score, 3 times the income. We allowed pets because the duplex did have a fenced backyard, and we have dogs. We love dogs.
Nice, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also allowed dogs at my first house hack, and I actually ended up having a dog fight break out in my yard. And so,
No,
yeah,
what happened?
yeah. So the way that it was like a yard, and then like a fence would split it, and then there was a gate because trash went out one side, recycling would go
Mm,
out the other, so tenants had to pass, right?
right.
This big old dog broke through the gate and like attacked
No.
the other dog and actually bit the other owner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what
So
happened?
I'm laying in bed and I was taking a nap and then I wake up and my phone is like 9 missed calls, 1,000 texts.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, I should probably call these people back. And so I called him back. Luckily, the dog just needed some stitches. It lived. It's still alive
Oh
to the
my
day that
goodness.
I know of. The owner just needed some stitches too. And the tenant that's dog actually did the attack, paid for
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, good.
And they were very cordial. We actually all got to meet and kind of talk about it. And like
Yeah.
everything was fine. But I've never had like search up dog laws so fast in my life. I was like, am I at fault? Are they at fault? What's going on?
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so glad that everybody was okay, and that the owner was took ownership of what happened, because that's crazy. Did they know that they had an aggressive dog, or was that a shock to them?
No, that to my knowledge and to their knowledge was the first time anything like that had happened. So in our county, I had to say, hey,
Oh my
now that this has happened, here's
goodness.
kind of the next steps. I'm not saying you have to put the dog down. I'm not saying that at all, but the dog just can't be here.
Yeah.
Because if the dog attacks again, now I would be at fault.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but they
Did they leave, or
understood.
what did they end up doing?
Yeah. So they actually sent me the Craigslist ad that they had posted and the Facebook ad saying, "Hey, we have to rehome the dog. Is anyone available?" And so they ended up to give the dog away to
Mm,
their family friend or something like that. Yeah. It's
mm, okay.
yeah. Which was
So do
kind
you
of
still allow
sad.
pets?
Yeah, yeah, which it was kind of sad, but the way that they handled it was perfect. I couldn't think of any other tenant that would handle it so smoothly. Um, but yeah, so I still
Yeah.
allow pets, just not if they're a roommate. Just because I don't want any weirdness there. And a lot of people that want to be my roommate
Yeah.
all have cats, and cats have a smell.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
All right, so you have the duplex. You guys have fixed it up, and you don't have to use exact numbers if you're not comfortable. But kind of what did it look like while you live in this house hack?
Yeah, I think it was that. So the way that we had saved after we got married is we lived on my husband's income, and we were fortunate enough to be in a position where we could just save all of my income. So when we were house hacking and fixing it up, it felt like my income just went towards new cabinets and toilets and all the things. So I would say not all of it, but a good chunk of it. I would say on rehabbing it over the course of 10 months, we probably spent about $10,000.
Okay, okay. And then your down payment was probably because you guys did the 5% down?
Yes, so we did 5% down down payment. Gotta do the math on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So your down payment was like 25,000?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay. So 25 for the down, 10 for the rehab, so you're about all in $35,000.
Yeah, and then we had the closing cost, I think was only 3%, so another, let's call it 10,000 for easy math.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, so really not that bad to own a $500,000 an asset.
yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah,
And then the advantage that a lot of people talk about with the house hack is it reduces the cost of living. So kind of like what were you guys paying each month while you lived there comparatively if you had to rent?
yes. So I think we were paying about the same that we would have paid, but
Okay.
we're the owners.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so because we bought it at kind of a high interest rate, I think it was 6.25, so our monthly payment is 3909.
Hmm.
Um, and then we had the tenants paying 2,200, I think at the time, which was actually pretty good for the area.
Hmm.
And so we had a cheaper rent of, I don't know, like 1,800.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah. The nice thing with the house hack is you could pay the same as when you would rent, but at least you own
Yes.
the asset. You get all like like the benefits there. Good. Okay. And so you guys are in this house hack, you fixed it up, you're not in the construction zone anymore. What was the next step that you guys took in your investing path?
Yeah. We almost stopped there. We
Oh.
uh we were gonna start a family, and we thought, oh well, let's take the honeymoon we never took, and we did that, and then we bought a single family home, and life had other plans, so we didn't end up starting our family, unfortunately. And I we're so now we have a primary residence. We're just renting out the duplex. And then I heard Michael Zuber harping about school, and I said, you know what? I'll check it out. $20 a month, fine. Let's see what this is all about.
Hmm.
And at that time, our buy box was similar to what Dion's, and I assume your buy box is small, multifamily, as close to a single family as possible. But I didn't want to, at that point, thinking about having kids and that kind of thing. I didn't want to live in a duplex for a year, fix it up, buy another one, do that for a decade. I wasn't interested in that at that time, just because of where we were at in our life. And so what did we so I started joining the weekly accountability groups, and I heard a lot of people talk about out of state investing, and I thought, you know what, I do have boots on the ground in other places. And then somebody in one of the accountability groups, he was investing very close to where my family lived. So I talked to him about the area. I talked to my family about the area. created a buy box, studied it for 3 months, and then now we invest out of state in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay, okay. Montgomery, Alabama, very different than Portland area.
Yes.
So was the boots on the ground the main driving force for going there? Because the only thing I know about Montgomery, Alabama is what they teach during like Black History Month. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, so I think having another investor that I could bounce ideas off of, and call in a pinch, and then also family that I call in a pinch, definitely was the driving factor of, okay, I have boots on the ground. Also, it's my mom and my stepdad that live out there,
Oh.
so I'll probably go. Uh, since we bought a property there, we went to visit, and we're gonna visit every year forever.
Yeah, nice.
So we have a reason to go there. And yeah, I mean, Montgomery is an older city. So the way that cities on the West Coast, as you know, uh, there's a lot of skinny houses. There's not a lot of room to build. Hardly anybody has a yard. And if they do, they paid $1 million for it.
Mm.
Um, or a big yard, I should say. Um, in Montgomery, a single family house is the norm. There's not a lot of apartments, and all the single family homes have a quarter acre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's the whole different lifestyle there.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what is the b buy box for that area?
Yes. So 3 bed, 2 bath, fenced backyard, between 100,000 and $150,000 in 3 different zip codes.
Okay. Wow, so very niche. So not only just is it Montgomery, it's these three zip codes in Montgomery.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
And okay, so 100 to 150, that's about a down payment where we live.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And then what is the like the return there? Just so people kind of have an understanding of
Yeah.
that.
I would say average is about 10, 11%.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then we bought a house for 125,000 at 6% interest, and our mortgage plus property taxes, escrow, insurance is $800,
Hmm.
eight $801, and our tenant pays 1235.
Okay, so so there's a nice little spread there, and then as you own longer, that spread is about to grow.
Yes,
Nice. Yeah, I think sometimes people think out of state investing, they're about to make it rain cash flow right from the get-go.
yes. And a funny thing about that, actually, when so my parents live about 30 minutes north of Montgomery in a smaller town. So they don't know the city proper necessarily. They just
Mhm.
know the general area. And I was doing research online, and I went to the out of state investing accountability group, and I was talking to the person that also invests out of state there, Vincent Harris. And I said, I was thinking about zip code A, B, and C. And he said, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. And proceeded to tell me about how a lot of property management companies won't go in that area, and that he bought a property there, and it was kind of a mess, and he suggested some areas. So it is really nice to have boots on the ground in terms of an investor that knows the area, I would say.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that definitely probably saved you some cash and more probably a few headaches.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very grateful to him.
So, speaking of property like management, did you hire that out? Are you managing from a distance?
Managing from a distance through Hemlane.
Okay.
So they do all the marketing when a unit is vacant. The tenant, when they need something, they request it via the Hemlane portal.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, they have my number in case of emergency, but for, the sink is leaking or something like that, they can request a work order via Hemlane. And then Hemlane also does rent collection and tenant screening. So I think it's pretty easy to use them, especially since I am going there. I had my stepdad go to the unit one time because we needed to install a carbon monoxide detector ASAP. So for us, because we have family and Hemlane makes it really easy, we
Mhm.
out of our self-manage.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I also use in Himalayan, though I'm on like the lower tier where it's just kind of like the admin side because
Yeah.
when I started, I was like, oh, I don't know how to bookkeep. So let me have Himalayan do that kind of important part.
Yeah.
So for you, are you on like the stepped up tier where Himalayan is the one that's messaging or
I think I'm on the same tier as you.
oh, okay.
Um, yeah. I think I pay for the basic.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah, because I know there's the most like highest tier of him lane where they'll do all the communication, they'll talk to the handyman, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll get to the point where I'll just have them do it, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, yeah. Me either. And I'm kind of a little bit out of state investing was a lot of letting go of control for me, right? I think I like being able to message the tenants sometimes myself.
Okay, yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, right? So you did all the work on your duplex, right? You lived in it, you breathed it in,
Hmm.
it lived right next door to you. I'm sure your single family house isn't too far from the duplex.
2 minutes.
Yes, I'm sure you've done some drive-by peeking,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
But you can't really do that when it's, 1,000 miles away. So what has that adjustment been like to kind of let go?
Um, I think it's been really good. I think being able to get the real estate or the landlord experience, and being so integral to
Mhm.
it and so close to it was a good way to learn. And then doing it from a distance has been really good because I was stressed the F out when we bought it. Everything that happened, uh, anytime the tenant messaged, I would freak out. What do we do? The water main in the front is spewing out water. I can't go there and fix it, right?
Oh,
But you call a plumber and you pay for it. So I think it's been good for me to learn how to just manage things and realize that not everything is an emergency. Yes, obviously you want to get stuff taken care of as soon as possible for the tenant, but it's okay to hire things out and wait on other people's schedules and it's not an emergency.
nice, nice. So you're about 3 or 4 years in. You got about 5 doors, 4 doors,
3 doors.
3 doors. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Including the one that you live in.
Now the one, yeah, the one we live in would be our fourth door.
Yeah, definitely count that because
Okay,
you
okay, I don't
because
know.
you own it. Come on, don't.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so four. Okay, okay. And then what is kind of the goal? Like, do you guys have like a set number of doors that you guys are planning to get? Is it a certain number?
Yeah, I think probably 20 doors would
Hmm.
be what we want, or 20 conventional loans in our name, because that's the max that we can get. And I think that kind of tracks with where we're at, in terms of if this year we're only going to buy one because we need to up our reserves. But after this year, I think we can buy two a year.
Hmm.
Um, and that will get us to about 20 in 10 years.
Nice. Good. Good. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the perk of when you go out of state to these cheaper areas. You can do a little bit more transactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
And I think for us to, oh, go ahead.
oh
Sorry.
no no no.
Well, we're planning because my mom lives there now. We're thinking maybe we'll move out there. So investing in a lower cost of living area, with assets don't appreciate as much, and living in a high cost of living area, since we might move out there, it kind of makes sense for us because then we'll be living in that same area.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I think the to start in a high cost living area is nice because you get that paycheck that's a little bit higher. So,
Yes.
but when you spend it in the like the lower cost, it goes so much further there.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think he can work remotely, but could you?
I could, so I work for a chemical coatings company. I'm a sales rep with them now. And we're covering the earth. So we're in all 50 states
Oh,
and I could go work out there. Probably, yeah, I wouldn't be able to work remote, I think, but if we moved, I could get a job down
oh,
south.
good, good. And I know he could definitely get a job. Everywhere needs the electricians.
Yeah.
Good. What tips would you give for people that are just kind of starting out? Like think back to 2021 you. What would you like
Yes.
to hear then?
I think I would like to know that um my advice. My advice would be to get in rooms of people that are doing the same thing and are at varying stages of the journey, because it does get really lonely. I think that was the biggest hurdle for us. You know, we were excited to buy the property, excited to work on it, and it just not having people that understood what our goal was and what it was that we're building was hard and a little bit lonely. So definitely get in rooms where other people are going in the same direction as you, and then also don't go too fast. Um, I think it's important to have reserves, and sometimes you can look at your reserves and go, well, you can just buy the next one. But if something goes wrong, then you've taken one step forward and gone two steps back.
Mm, yeah, I've cut it close on reserves on every purchase. I'm like, hey, what is the what is the line? And I'll go right to that. No, I still have the reserves, right? But if they're like, hey, you need 6 months reserves, it's 6 months to the exact number for me.
Right.
Especially when I first started out, right? I'm just like, I need every dollar accounted for and going right to the line. I think as I grow, I may not risk it as much there.
Yeah. And I think when you are growing too, you do kind of have to deploy every dollar that you have and maybe get creative with what reserves are. We use my 401k as
Oh,
a reserves for a long time.
nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I have this teacher pension thing that depending on the lender, they will count it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So
fantastic.
yeah, so you kind of got to ask around because some of the like the lenders are really tight and they're like, oh no, we only take this or that. Some lenders, I don't know what rule book that they're reading, are a little bit more loosey-goosey. So so
Like
if
those
you need
lenders.
to if you need to play it in that realm, there's some out there. Good. So we talked about the advice. What resources would you kind of point to for a newer investor, regardless of their age?
Resources. I would say go to a local meetup. Go, go to a local meetup, meet people in your area, find whatever it is that interests you. If it's the stocks, find somebody that invests in stocks in YouTube and watch them. If it's rentals, one rental at a time. Watch Michael Zuber.
Yeah.
Uh, read some books. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that's a really good mindset shifting book. And to keep listening to that kind of stuff and to keep being around those people, because there are seasons where I'm definitely not feeling the real estate. I'll be honest. There'll be months at a time where I'll think about this is kind of taking a back seat in my life. But when you're around those people continuously, they kind of keep you on the path.
Nice. Is there a group in your area that you're like, hey, people need to come to this?
Um, I went to a Northwest Action Summit, I think it was the name of it. And actually, Dion came and spoke at it. I think it was like 2023. Um, but that was just kind of more an event. I don't go to a ton of local meetups outside of school. We have a Oregon school group that gets together maybe once a quarter.
Nice. Yeah. Fun fact, I was also at that event because Zuber spoke there too.
Oh, no, Zuber, I think he was the next year, maybe
Oh,
with
okay, okay.
Dion, because we
Okay,
were
so
going
was
to go
that
to that one, but it didn't end up
2024?
working out.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
was like, I was at that one because it was in, I think, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it must have been the
Oh
20
man, we were two
24
ships
one.
passing the night.
Yeah, yeah. Small world. Good. So if people want to talk to you more about either the Portland market or the Montgomery market or just to know about, I don't know, self-managing, is the best way to contact you through school?
Yes, the best way is through school. I've toyed around with the idea of a YouTube, but we will to be continued.
To be
To be, yeah.
to be continued. Good. And when I see you next year at the event, what is one thing you will have accomplished by then?
I will have I will have bought another duplex and I will have 30,000 in reserves.
Oh, I love it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on. If you all would like to know more about her story or other house hacker stories, make sure you subscribe. We'll have more to come.